What if I told you that a once proud luxury car from Mercedes-Benz, a car that was the pinnacle of comfort and prestige in its day, has now become one of the cheapest ways to get into the three-pointed star badge? The 2001 Mercedes-Benz E320 Wagon might look like the perfect used bargain, but beneath that timeless design lies a story of aging technology, costly repairs, and a reputation that has slowly drifted from icon to afterthought. But is it really a money pit or a hidden gem waiting for the right buyer? Stick with me, because the truth might just surprise you. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class has always been a cornerstone of the brand. For decades, it represented that sweet spot between the compact C-Class and the flagship S-Class. By the early 2000s, the E-Class had built a reputation as the car for successful professionals, families who wanted space with luxury, and anyone who valued timeless German engineering. The 2001 E320 Wagon, part of the W210 generation, was meant to capture all of that prestige and package it into something practical, versatile, and still luxurious. At its launch, this car wasn't just another wagon, it was a statement. You could have family-hauling practicality without sacrificing refinement. Under the hood sat a smooth 3.2-liter V6 paired with a 5-speed automatic, promising effortless cruising for long highway drives. Inside, buyers found wood trim, leather upholstery, and a cabin built to the standards Mercedes was known for. But here's where things get interesting. Over time, the W210 series picked up a mixed reputation. On one hand, enthusiasts loved its solid road presence and understated elegance. On the other, critics pointed to questionable reliability, rust issues, and maintenance costs that scared off many potential owners. So, does this wagon live up to the Mercedes legend? Or does it prove that sometimes prestige doesn't age as gracefully as we'd like? That's what we're about to uncover as we dig into design, performance, and the ownership experience of this 2001 E320 wagon. Let's start with the exterior. At first glance, the 2001 E320 wagon still carries a sense of understated charm. Those oval headlights, a design hallmark of the late 90s and early 2000s Mercedes lineup, give it a distinctive face. The long, elegant body lines strike a balance between utility and sophistication. Unlike today's flashy SUVs, this wagon doesn't scream for attention, but it certainly holds its own with quiet confidence. Step inside, and the story gets more complicated. The cabin greets you with wood accents and leather seats that, when well cared for, still feel luxurious even 2 decades later. The driving position is commanding, visibility is excellent, and the rear cargo area is surprisingly cavernous, one of the big reasons families loved this car. But time hasn't been equally kind everywhere. Some interiors show wear, the infotainment feels dated by today's standards, and features like navigation and sound systems remind you just how far technology has come since 2001. The rear cargo area is surprisingly cavernous, one of the big reasons families loved this car. Now let's talk performance. The 3.2-liter V6 engine produces around 221 horsepower, which was respectable for its time. Paired with the automatic transmission, it delivers smooth, effortless power, ideal for highway cruising. It's not a performance wagon by any means, but the ride comfort is where it shines. Long trips feel relaxed, and the suspension tuning delivers that bank vault stability Mercedes was famous for. On the flip side, the handling isn't sporty, and compared to rivals from BMW, it can feel a little detached. Under the hood sat a smooth 3.2-liter V6 paired with a 5-speed automatic, promising effortless cruising for long highway drives. Compared to rivals like BMW, it can feel a little detached. Reliability, however, is where things start to tilt. The W210 generation became infamous for rust issues, particularly in the front fenders and undercarriage. Electrical gremlins also plagued certain models, and expensive repairs were not uncommon. For a buyer today, that means this car can either be a dream deal or a nightmare that drains your wallet. Technology for its time was decent. Stability control, airbags, and a suite of safety features that set a standard in the early 2000s. But compared to modern vehicles, it feels basic. There are no touchscreens, adaptive cruise control, or lane-keeping assists here. This is old-school luxury, for better or worse. Fuel economy sits around 18 miles per gallon city and 25 on the highway. Again, average for its day, but far from efficient by current standards. And then there's pricing. Today, you can find these wagons for shockingly low prices, sometimes under $5,000. That's the hook for many buyers. Mercedes luxury at Honda Civic money. But that's where you have to ask yourself, is the low entry price worth the potential repair bills waiting down the road? Because, as we'll see in the next section, the highlights are impressive, but the drawbacks can be brutal if you're not prepared. And here's where everything reaches a tipping point. Out on the road, the 2001 E320 Wagon proves why people fell in love with it in the first place. The engine may not be blisteringly quick, but it's silky smooth. At cruising speed, it feels stable, solid, and far more refined than most cars of its era. There's a certain confidence that comes with driving a Mercedes from this period. That sense that no matter how old it gets, it still carries an aura of class. But then reality sets in. Push it harder, and you'll notice the limitations. The transmission, while smooth, isn't lightning fast. The handling feels composed but uninspiring. And if you're expecting a sporty wagon experience, you might walk away disappointed. The bigger shock, however, comes when you factor in ownership costs. That bargain $4,000 or $5,000 purchase price can quickly balloon when you add in rust repairs, suspension fixes, or electrical problems. Many owners have learned the hard way that while you can buy a Mercedes cheaply, you can't maintain one cheaply. This is the moment when expectations collide with reality. Yet, there's something undeniably charming about this car. It's not just transportation, it's a slice of Mercedes history. For enthusiasts who know what they're getting into, the E320 Wagon delivers a rewarding ownership experience. For casual buyers hoping for trouble-free motoring, this could be the point where the dream starts to crack. So, what's the final verdict on the 2001 Mercedes-Benz E320 Wagon? On one hand, you have a car that offers timeless styling, a smooth and comfortable ride, and the prestige of the Mercedes badge, all for a fraction of what it once cost. It's practical, elegant, and still capable of turning heads with the right care. On the other hand, you're facing real-world drawbacks, aging technology, average fuel economy, and the very real risk of expensive repairs. Rust and electrical problems are not just possibilities, they're common issues that can make or break ownership. So who should buy this car? Enthusiasts who appreciate old-school Mercedes charm, who have the patience and budget to deal with its quirks, and who see value in owning a piece of automotive history. For them, the E320 Wagon can be a rewarding project and a unique daily driver. But for buyers looking for worry-free reliability or those on a tight budget, this car is not the answer. In today's US market, where crossovers and SUVs dominate, wagons like this are almost extinct. That makes the E320 Wagon even more special, but also more niche. It reflects a different era of Mercedes, one focused on comfort and class over gadgets and gimmicks. At the end of the day, this car isn't just about whether it's worth buying, it's about what kind of buyer you are. Are you ready to embrace the charm with all the challenges that come along with it? Or would you rather take the safer route with something newer and more predictable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you take the plunge on a used Mercedes wagon, or is this one a pass for you? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more honest car reviews, and hit the bell so you never miss what's coming next.